starting a business has fundamentally changed my life and the life of my family.
Yeah.
Really, by taking control of my career and creating a business I love, I have gained a sense of empowerment and self-reliance that I don't think I would have gotten any other way.
Welcome, mompreneurs, to another episode of the Good Enough Mompreneur podcast. I'm so grateful you are here. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I have an interview with one of the most passionate, energetic mompreneurs I think that I have ever met. And she's so incredible. And I think she is such a stand for all that this podcast is about, showing you the possibility. And I'm not sure if you could meet a more encouraging person. So I cannot wait to bring you my interview with Darlene Oliver coming up. But first, I want to invite you to leave the podcast a review. I have so many listeners who reach out and tell me that an episode touched them, but it's not reflected in the reviews, and the reviews are so important to have other mompreneurs find the podcast. So if you could please do me a favor, I would so appreciate it. If you could leave the podcast a review wherever you listen to podcasts, but especially Apple Podcasts is very helpful. It's totally free, take you a few minutes, and I would be so grateful. And you're going to help other moms find the show. So then two, you can subscribe to the show so you don't miss an interview or an episode, because then you're going to get a little notification every time we have an episode that is published. And then you're going to be able to add it to your list of podcasts you listen to, and it will be there ready, waiting for you when you're ready to listen. And then you can also easily share this podcast episode or the show with anybody that you know that might find it helpful. So I want to tell you a few exciting details about Darlene Oliver. Darlene Oliver helps women find opportunities that match their needs and goals so that they can start a business doing what they love, making good money and building a life that provides the financial security and personal fulfillment that they desire and deserve. She understands better than anyone that traditional 9-to-5 jobs just aren't sustainable or fulfilling for everyone, and has made it her life's purpose to empower others to create their own successful businesses that provide both financial freedom and personal satisfaction. What sets Darlene apart from other career coaches is her unwavering dedication to excellence. She's spent the last 15 years building her own successful businesses, and along the way, she's developed her own methodologies that have helped countless others achieve their own entrepreneurial dreams. Her uncommon solutions are both effective and user-friendly, providing valuable insights and strategies to clients new and experienced. Darlene's vision is to help mompreneurs overcome their doubts and fears and find their sweet spot, the intersection of their unique expertise, emotions, and earnings. By aligning these three factors, she helps her clients gain the confidence and clarity they need to start a successful business from home. A firm believer in the power of community, Darlene has also created a dramatic tribe of unconventional businesswomen who support, inspire, and motivate one another on their entrepreneurial journeys. One of Darlene's most distinctive and effective tools is her Triple E framework, a proven approach that takes into account expertise, emotions, and earnings. Through this framework, mompreneurs can confidently start and grow their businesses, doing what they do best and what brings them joy, while earning a good living in the process. By leveraging Darlene's coaching and guidance, these women can take their careers and their lives to the next level. So, without further ado, here's my interview with Darlene Oliver. Hi, Darlene. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You're so welcome. I'm excited to talk to you. I love supporting a fellow mompreneur, and I think you're doing some really important work, and you're so full of energy and excitement and enthusiasm in the work that you do to support mompreneurs. So I'm excited to dive in.
Yes, and I thought this was the perfect platform for all you do. Thank you. I love your podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I am a conduit for greatness. I am just pleasantly surprised the amazing people that I get to talk to because of it. So I'm glad to have you part of the show now. So why don't you set the stage for us on what you're doing and where you went from struggling as a single mom to being on a mission to inspire other mompreneurs and show them what's possible through home-based
Absolutely.
businesses.
First, I want to say that I usually don't talk about myself. I'm not even a big selfie person. So, doing these interviews has allowed me to step outside of my comfort zone,
Good.
which I think is important. You got to do that at all
Yes.
stages.
Let it
So, just
shine.
saying thanks for helping me with that. But people have been asking about what I do and how I'm doing it. So, I started sharing my story, and I thought your platform was perfect for that. So for people that don't know about me, I lost my job way back in 2009, not for the first time. You know, we've all been through that at least a couple times in our career. But then I was out of work for a while. It took a while to find a position. I ended up falling into debt, and I wasn't even moved out of my home before I came home and found a lock on the door. Can you picture that?
No.
So they foreclosed my home. I had to file bankruptcy. Ended up moving in with my twin sister, who also got me started in this journey. So, and then this was about the time that my newborn daughter was born. Her father ended up getting deported, and that left me as the sole caretaker for her and the rest of my children. And then to top it all off, I had a car accident. Serious one, got hurt, made it impossible to work a full-time job. I was in pain a lot, and ended up feeling hopeless. I mean, rock bottom. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was living with my sister at the time again. She walks in one day and says, let's start a home-based business. And you know, I've done that before, and it really didn't result well for me. So I was skeptical, and I had to think about it. At first I was like, mm-mm. But you know, I didn't have any faith. I was feeling hopeless and useless and lost at the time. Didn't see how I'd be able to do that. But the more I thought about it, I really didn't have a choice. I was at rock bottom. I wasn't finding work. I needed to create an income somehow. So I was like, all right, let's do this. And we both did it in different cities, twins, exact same services, in different ways. But we were both doing it. And I think that was key. It was really helpful to have her going through that with me. So after 10 years, what I can say is, you know, at first, we got established. I didn't give up. I got addicted. And so I started looking at all these different ways to make money, and I experimented. I'm a Shark Tank fan. So I got addicted. I started looking for everything that I could that sounded interesting. I'd look into it and I'd experiment with it. And if I liked it, I kept it. If I didn't, I'd move on. But it was so much fun. And I don't recommend anybody to do this. Over the next 10 years, I gained 15 job titles. And that sounds wonderful, but that was a lot of work. I'm not telling anybody to get out there and do that. But I found so many opportunities. It was so much fun. And I learned to work in my sweet spot. And when I'm saying sweet spot, what I mean is I was making more money than a job, any job that I'd ever had. I was making good money. I was enjoying what I was doing. I got all the rewards I wanted. I got to spend more time with my kids, pickup days, picking up your kid from school is a luxury
Mm-hmm.
many parents don't get. I got to do all of those things, spend more time with her at her soccer practice and her games. So I was having so much fun. It was
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. But then, people started asking me and I started sharing. I'd meet people on the street or people where I'd be working and they'd ask me, how'd you get started in this?
Mm-hmm.
So I shared and I saw other people be able to make it work for them too. And that was such a joy
Mm-hmm.
that I pivoted. I started deciding that I want to help people do this. And so I started putting together my methodology.
Mm-hmm.
Right about the time the COVID hit, that's what motivated me. I'm like, people need to hear this. It reminded me all these stories, people talking about being depressed
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing how to make income. It got to me. It reminded me of what I went through. So I've been developing this. It's taken a couple of years to get it all nailed down. I call it the Triple E framework. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a mission to inspire other mompreneurs to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not to get 15 job titles by any.
Right.
That,
So,
that's a little too much to ask of you, I promise. I'm not
but
asking.
I find that
But
so interesting for a few reasons. But first, I would love to hear about what was it that was like the light in the clouds? Like, where was that moment that you kind of went, oh, this might be actually something that can work for me?
when I started making money, when I started making more money than I did at my job, and
Uh-huh.
it didn't even feel like work,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I knew I had something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're starting a business in your sweet spot, doing things you enjoy, it really
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like punching a clock and going in every day. You're working for someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting paid to make them rich.
Mm-hmm.
This is you building your future around what you enjoy doing, and it becomes enjoyable. I
Right.
love my work.
Yeah. So, what were some of the fears that you kind of felt that I imagine you probably felt like, who am I to do this? Or what were some
Oh
of the
my.
things that you kind of went through and how did you overcome them? Because I know a lot of people, myself included, felt that way. And
Yeah,
I think it's so important to share stories about that so people don't feel like they're the only ones that feel that way.
right. And at first I have to explain this shift is gradual. At first, failure wasn't an
Yeah.
option, so I actually just had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
But the more that I succeeded, the more confidence I had.
Mm-hmm.
When I failed, it was not really like failing. I was learning how to perfect my business.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, the the successes outnumbered the failures.
Mm-hmm.
And the confidence grew, and that's how it happened. Now, I can tell you that there are certain mindset shifts that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and let me share those with you. I've got something over here. I want to make sure I don't forget all five. I think
Yeah,
all five.
no, I love that because this is
Right,
so important. You have
right.
to unlearn being
Yes,
an employee and
right.
you have to adopt and work hard at thinking differently. So I
I
loved it.
love how you put that. That's exactly right. It is a complete shift from 9 to 5 to being a business owner. It is.
Absolutely.
The first thing I'd say is being willing to step out of your comfort zone. Just like
Yes.
I said at the beginning, you're going to have to do that in any business. If you're
Hmm.
not willing to step out of your comfort
Yeah.
zone, I'd say don't start the journey because that's part of it. I will give everybody tips on how to overcome these or how to work on these too. For this one, I'd say practice little ways firstly in your everyday life. Start slowly so you're not overwhelming yourself. And I'm not saying do anything risky or dangerous. No, no, no. Just try doing something different, one thing at a time, and see
Hmm.
how it feels and just build on that.
Hmm.
The second thing I'd say is you have to be determined. And I mean determined like the Terminator.
Yes.
If you're going to start a business, you have to be committed. For this one, I'd suggest having a good support system. to keep you motivated. And I'm not saying go down with a sinking ship either, but if you have validated your idea and it's good, don't give
Mm-hmm.
up. Just, you have to persevere and make it happen, and learn as you go to improve it until it is the success that you want it to be. But you can't give up. That's
Mm-hmm.
not. Third, growth mindset. Like I said, you're going to have to grow if you're going to be a business owner. This is not something where you can stay the same. Things are going to change, and you're going to have to adapt with them. For this one, I'd say start small. Don't overwhelm yourself again, but soak up opportunities to learn what you need to be an entrepreneur, a successful one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and surround yourself with people you admire. If you take it at your own pace, you won't overwhelm yourself, but I guarantee you'll grow.
Mm-hmm.
Then this one's really important because I've seen a lot of people fail because they can't do this.
Mm.
You have you can't have thin skin. You have to step outside of your own ego to learn from other people around you. If you can't do that, you're not going to learn how to improve your business and make it work. So don't be thin skinned, and be willing to accept the feedback that you get from other people about your business. And last one, and this is key too. Oh, look how many times I've pivoted. You have to be willing to pivot. If you
Mm-hmm.
can't pivot, you're going to flounder, because businesses change, and smart business people know that you have to adapt to those changes if you want your business to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 5 that I love.
I agree with all of those yeah, it's so true. I mean, I think probably one of the biggest challenges, especially if you are starting an online business, is there is so much information. There is so much you can do that it is very difficult to go slow and not feel the pressure to compare yourself or think that you should be at another place than you are. And that's okay.
Yeah, we're all on our own journey,
Right.
and we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people.
No.
And I believe we all have a purpose too.
Yes.
And if you're living in that purpose, then your journey is your own, and
Right.
it shouldn't be compared to anyone else.
No, I totally agree. But those are all solid tips because if you can't adapt and you can't, you know, just take advice, everybody's advice is just a reflection of their own situation too. Take it with a grain
Right.
of salt. You don't know what limitations that other person may have or what their experience is. So definitely. So you
And actually,
mentioned,
that's what helps you to develop your niche,
right,
for your business.
exactly.
The
Well,
feedback.
right. And I was going to ask you, you mentioned, all of the different titles that you had, and you talked about validation, which
And
I love. I
I
mean,
ended up telling you that, but I didn't even name them. So for
oh,
anybody who hasn't heard those, let me
yeah.
validate that
Yeah.
with a list. I started as a notary public and a signing agent. I've closed over 800 signings and done quite a few notary public deeds. I then did the tutoring, telemarketing. I have performed dozens of weddings.
Mhm.
I have sold things online. I've worked in collections, property preservation, loss mitigation, site inspections. Did bookkeeping for a while. Then I became a pro advisor, QuickBooks
Mhm.
Pro Advisor. Got licensed to do taxes. I tried flipping land and solar sales for a bit. That didn't stick. Licensed insurance sales. Now I'm an author and a blogger and a business coach.
I love it. I mean, so many people would not even approach one of those things. The fact that you didn't limit yourself, and we limit ourselves all of the time. Like, oh, I can't do that. That's for somebody else. I mean, I just love that because it's just with the trying that you find what is your thing, what is your niche. So how are some of the ways that you considered what you decided to pursue? How did you validate it? and talk about the
Oh
importance of
gosh, yes.
validation, because I think that that's key. I don't think anybody has really talked about that on the podcast.
Right. And you know, the importance of validation is you want to make sure it's worth it before you start putting your time and your
Yes.
energy. These things are worth money to you. You know, time is money. You want to make sure that the idea is good before you go off and start spending all this time and money to get it up and running. So,
Mm-hmm.
research is key. I
Mm-hmm.
always start with research. You can't really know if you're going to be able to sell a product or what you can sell it for unless you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make a profit, how much of a profit? How much time should you put into this? So research is key. You also don't
Yes.
know what it's going to take to get the business up and running, what steps you have to take, how much it's going to cost, and then if you have to compare the two, is it even worth it?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of this, I have to say, research is not the end of it. You have to create a plan. Because after you do all of that research, you have to have a path to get there. And if you don't create a business plan, that's
Mm-hmm.
your path, your milestones, your stepping stones to get there. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to create that plan and compare against it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I like talking about KPIs, key performance indicators.
Mm-hmm.
When you start creating a plan, you figure out what those are going to be and you watch them to see if
Mm-hmm.
you're on the right path, or if you're off that path, you figure out how to pivot to get back.
Mm-hmm.
So, research, building a plan. I say start first, figure out what your sweet spot is, because you have to align everything that you're trying to get out of this first before you do the research and then start working into your business plan and get yourself launched.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds
And
like
I love it.
too, yeah, but
Yeah.
at some point too, you assessed like, I want to create this opportunity that gives me a flexible schedule too, right? I talk
Right.
to
You know,
moms
those are the
who,
rewards and the benefits. If you're
yeah.
starting a business and you don't have those, why are you doing this?
I mean,
You
I
know?
talk to people who have these ideas and I'm like, are you sure you want to have that business that requires your time and you have a toddler? Like, are you, can we
Yes.
think
Is it
about this?
what are you going to have to sacrifice to get it
Right.
going?
So I love that you thought about the life that you wanted to have and you wanted to create. That's so important, along with the research that you have to do. So
Right.
you've
How
done
did
the,
I do
yeah.
it?
I mean, so yeah,
um,
let's talk about like, I love action. I mean, I just love talking about, okay, this is what I would do, because we can talk
yes.
all day about mindset shifts and that's all good and well, but you also have to take action. So what are some
Yeah.
of the actions that you would take once you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I think I can do it. Now what?
Um, I start with my triple E framework. So that's expertise plus emotions plus earnings. I say it
Mm-hmm.
equals success. Okay, you need
Mm-hmm.
a winning business formula, and I'm going to put it another way because that's kind of hard to understand for most people. One of the reasons that you want to leave that job and start a business
Mm-hmm.
is for the lifestyle. You want a
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle that you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That includes picking up the kids. I get all emotional. This is why I did it. Picking up the kids at school, being there for
Yes.
the practice, being able to spend time doing what you enjoy.
Yep.
And then it's all about combining your unique abilities with the life that you want to live. And
Mm-hmm.
then how do you make that money to afford that lifestyle?
Right.
And then when you know what you want to do and how you want to live, then make and how you can make money from that, then it's easy just to put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to do the research and build the plan
Mm-hmm.
that creates that lifestyle.
So, what were some of the most effective ways that you were able to kind of take that action? Would you send emails? Would you start a marketing campaign? Would you make phone calls? What are
You
some
know,
of those?
it always goes back to that business plan. I
Yeah.
never did anything without building a plan, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in learning from the people around you. So research, build that plan,
Yeah.
and then take action on that plan. But that plan will
Mm-hmm.
tell you the milestones, the steps you have to take to get where you want to go. And it all depends on the business that you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your new book, Real Work from Home Jobs and Business Opportunities. And I think we all can kind of understand why it's so important right now, but I'd love to hear like why you're so passionate about it.
Why I think the timing is perfect right now?
Yeah.
I know that sounds funny to people in the middle of a pandemic. Why am I saying it's the perfect time? Um, I feel there's a lot of people out there who are looking for what I was able to do. That
Yeah.
they're trying to start a business where they have more control over their life right now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if companies want to close, they want to figure out another path. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
show people how to do that, and
Yeah.
I really want to show them what's possible because a lot of people don't even understand the
Right.
possibilities that are out there right now. And I'm going to use statistics to do
I love it.
that. I've got a few right here. Because numbers don't lie.
Yep.
So recent statistics from the SBA say 15.4 million people got laid off in 2022. And then just over 168,000 in 2023. That's 28% of Americans laid off in the last 2 years alone.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, over a million businesses, actually 1,017,311 permanently closed.
Hmm.
What that tells me, to me, that's a good thing because that says there's a lot of gaps in the market right now to fill. That says this is the perfect time to start a business and establish your brand
Mm-hmm.
before other people beat you to the punch. You have time right now to start your
Mm-hmm.
business
Mm-hmm.
and build that customer loyalty before the next person does.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get in right now while the time is right to build your niche. Then at the same time, I'm going to use NerdWallet and the Burlow numbers here.
Mm-hmm.
33.2 million small businesses exist across the US right now. That's a lot of businesses.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good number to me. 34.6% of small businesses survived past the 10-year mark. And that's a milestone. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
milestone.
Mm-hmm.
So if 34% made it, that's good. That's up from past numbers. 73 billion in small business loans have been funded since 2020. They're still giving out loans for startups, people, and over 5 million new business startups in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
They are onto something. Other people need to catch on.
Right.
98% of each industry is comprised of small businesses. So the corporations aren't the major thing here. Small businesses are.
Yeah.
We still have a chance. This tells me that this is the best time, that many of these are small businesses and the pandemic hasn't stopped them.
Mm-hmm.
And people are still launching businesses and they're still getting financed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still good to start businesses. Now I'm going to go into a couple more here. Roughly 1.1 million businesses are minority owned. That's 18.7%. 20.4% are owned by women. And a majority of these business owners are between the ages of 55 and 65. So what that shows me is these people are able to do it. That tells me anyone can. And we
Mm-hmm.
need to raise these numbers. There needs to be more minorities. There needs to be
Mm-hmm.
more women. There needs to be more people between 55 and 65 who are able to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now more than ever before, there's opportunities and people can fill those opportunities with their
Mm-hmm.
business. And honestly, the truth is that the traditional 9 to 5s, they're not fulfilling for all of us. You know, some of
Right.
us, we like the unconventional, we're rethinking our careers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's why I'm committed. I'm committed to empowering mompreneurs to be able to do what I did, to start their
Mm-hmm.
successful business, build a life that gives them financial freedom and
Mm-hmm.
personal fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better.
I love that because I think we've been conditioned to believe that a 9 to 5 is security and is the only way. And what are people going to think? But I think your numbers show that, there is a false sense of security in a 9 to 5, and that
Right.
you can actually create your own thing, and you have your own gifts that you need to be sharing, and things that you can do to, don't wait for somebody else to create an opportunity for you. You can do it for yourself. Because
And I have to say, you are so right. There really isn't that much security in a 9 to 5 anymore. And
no.
I've gone through layoffs and I've lost my job a few times in my life. And I will tell you, since I've started my business, I've taken part-time jobs when I
Mm-hmm,
felt like it, if it was
mm-hmm,
interesting to me.
mm-hmm,
And that is the best way if you're going to start a business to
mm-hmm,
get it started is to
mm-hmm,
start it on the side. If you're having
mm-hmm,
trouble doing it full time right off at the beginning, then
mm-hmm.
start it as a side hustle and grow it from that.
I
Gives you the time
Yeah.
to experiment, figure out what works, and
Mm-hmm.
then build it from there.
I love that, because there is this myth that you're not an entrepreneur, or if you're not all in and full time, that for somehow it's not good enough, or, if you want to find an excuse, you will find one. But we're here to that myth just doesn't hold water, because if you are really passionate about something, you can dedicate an hour or two a week or a day or whatever time you have. Progress is progress. So
Yes.
I don't think either one of us would just let those excuses hold any weight. They
Right.
don't.
Those
um
are just fears that are holding you back.
Yeah. So let's talk more about your 3 simple steps to help anyone find alignment in their business.
Okay. And actually, it's just as simple as what I explained earlier.
Uh-huh.
If you figure out what you love
Mm-hmm.
and what you're best at, you can leverage the best parts of you to earn an income.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, it has to have the rewards and the benefits that you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not experiencing those, then why go through all of this hard work to build it in the first place?
Right.
So you have to build in the emotions. You take that into account. And then the last is
Oh,
maximize your earnings because you're not trying to build some expensive hobby, some unsustainable hobby. This is a
right.
business. You want to make money and you want to make good money at it. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you're going to make the money that you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
before you get started. So those are the 3 things that I feel are the most key, and that's part of my framework.
So
So
when you talk about emotion, do you mean like passion? Like you have to
it's
be
not just about the passion, but that sure helps. When you have
it does.
a business that you are passionate about, again, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't feel like work anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you love going to work every day, you love doing what you're doing, doesn't feel like work. So that has to be a key part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody wants to feel like they're punching a 9 to 5 when they're running their business.
Right. No. So I know that there are people out there who are like, I don't know what I'm passionate about. Would you have any advice for somebody who doesn't quite know what they want to do to
Um,
find
I would say, expertise is vital. If you're not the
one?
expert of your business, you're going to have to rely on other people,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're not the expert, your customers aren't going to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Your vendors aren't going to trust you, and neither are your employees. You're not
Mm-hmm.
going to trust yourself, and you're not going to be able to solve the challenges that come your way. So expertise is vital. I'd start there.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, look at your expertise and decide which one of those things did you enjoy? Which one of
Mm-hmm.
those things did you not?
Right.
Spend some time soul searching about which one of those things would you feel like it wasn't really work if you were making good money at.
Right.
If
Totally.
you do that soul searching and you try to find the thing you're passionate about,
Right.
and I can help. I have a free tool I'll give everybody at the end that helps them with my framework.
Nice.
But it'll help them to find the path that's
Uh-huh.
best for them by applying these three things to their journey.
Right. Yeah,
But it's all
whatever.
about what you're passionate about and leveraging
Sure.
those unique abilities. I feel like if
Mm-hmm.
people have those unique abilities, they have a duty to themselves and others to
Mm-hmm.
use those to start a business.
I totally agree. And it's often something that people think is too easy. Like it's kind of a blind spot because it's so natural to you, you don't realize. And so what I say is, what do people come to you for? What do
Right.
people compliment you on? Because often it's that thing we don't even think about, and it is doesn't seem like work, and so therefore people, we think work has to be hard. We think if it's easy, there's no way I could earn money doing it. But that's exactly what you should be doing, is what seems easy and natural. So
Yes. I
definitely.
love that. That's perfect.
And once you kind of get focus on what you want to do, I really want to dive into finding your niche, because it's so
Yes.
important, and it's such a divisive topic. Like some people love it, some people dismiss it, but I think this podcast itself is proof of the importance of finding your niche. I
Yes.
kind of did it accidentally, but if I just did a podcast on business, okay, that's all well and good, but I wouldn't necessarily be speaking to a direct audience, and I wouldn't be giving people a certain perspective that I have as a mom. Mompreneurs, I want to take a minute to tell you about our newest sponsor, Tiffany Co. Design Studio, a mompreneur founded design studio that helps you stay consistent and on brand using her social media and business resource templates. Did you know you can increase your revenue by 20% simply by having consistent branding for your business? The template packs from Tiffany Co. Design Studio are intentionally designed to keep your branding cohesive and are simple to customize to your brand. Save hours of time on content creation and look professional by using templates. Find templates by visiting tiffanycodesignstudio.com and use code GoodEnoughMom to get 20% off any template pack. Mompreneurs, I also wanted to let you know that registration is open for my free live masterclass on Wednesday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. Sign up by going to mombusinesscoach.com/learn, and we will have a masterclass on 7 proven strategies for more abundance and bliss as a mompreneur. So I hope you will join me. You will learn so much. And now back to my conversation with the lovely Darlene Oliver. Can you talk about the importance of niching?
Absolutely. And I think it's especially important for mompreneurs. The
Yeah.
smaller the business, the more important it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Finding your niche, it helps you identify the ideal audience and to understand what they need more. And if you don't know that, then how are you going to provide those things?
Right.
You know, it helps you to tailor the products and services
Mm-hmm.
to meet those wants and needs. And that way they keep coming back because you're satisfying a need. That's the key point of a business.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're specific and focused, it helps you with the language too. You're able to reach that audience better. It attracts loyal customers. I can't even say enough about that.
Do you have,
Finding the right niche helps you achieve
yeah,
that balance because you're able to expend less of your efforts and funds to reach your audience. Once you're
right.
able to find that niche, then you can hone in and focus your effort and your resources and get a better result.
For sure. Yes,
Yes.
100%. Because, I think I really want to beat the drum of we're not here to please everybody. And I think as women and
Right.
moms, we typically find ourselves wanting to do that. But
And
when
yeah, the
you,
more you do that, the more you have the opportunity to lose customers too.
mm-hmm,
Some businesses will find it challenging to find that perfect fit.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of entrepreneurs don't find out until they get started and they've already put all of their efforts into it. And then what happens is they don't make enough money because they're not selling. And
mm-hmm,
then that leads to working harder to make more money. You
mm-hmm,
start hating your business, and
mm-hmm,
that never works out well. Or others run into those problems with an unsuccessful product or service, and then they haven't planned for it, and then that eventually leads to cash flow problems and they go under. So
mm-hmm.
like not having your niche will end up causing you problems in your business.
Yes. So, do you have any tips for how somebody might be able to find their niche or start the process of narrowing down, who their ideal client or customer is?
That would depend on the industry. And again, I have a tool
Mm-hmm.
that helps people to figure out what their sweet spot is. And I think that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Figuring out what makes you the most money, for using your unique talents and how you
Mm-hmm.
can be able to afford that lifestyle that you're looking for. And
Mm-hmm.
I will tell everybody how to find that tool at the end of the interview so they can get that and get started.
Yeah.
Because
And
I
then,
really want everybody to get started and be successful. It would be
oh,
wonderful for us to start a mompreneur revolution right now.
I think
I,
there is one underway for sure. I
is
think
there? Well, I'm joining today.
absolutely. I absolutely believe it because there is just so much opportunity. Like if you have a laptop and a cell phone and you might just need a cell phone to be able to create your own business. And I think people are beginning to, that was kind of the silver lining with the pandemic. We had to start incorporating new ways of thinking. Like I always tell the story of Instacart. Like I was so opposed to Instacart. I'll do it. I'll go. No, 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 no. I don't want anybody choosing my grapes. It's okay. And it's so silly. We cling to our old ideas and our old concepts, whether they serve us or not. And it's really time to start thinking differently about how we work and how we live and how we earn money. And it's just got to change. It is changing, thankfully. So
You're right. The pandemic just completely changed
it
everything. The
did.
world became global overnight. Even
Yep.
people who were resistant had no reason not to get involved anymore. So
Right.
it's completed a complete new landscape
Mm-hmm.
for your business. You're not just your local community anymore. You have the
Right.
world to sell to.
Mm-hmm. And I think I read a statistic where almost within a few weeks, the online education industry made a 10-year leap. Like it went from zero to where they expected it to be in 10 years because people realized they had to do things differently. And that included learning
Right.
and, what they needed to learn and all of those things. So yeah, I don't think we could talk about it enough. But I'd
Right.
love to hear how I you've alluded to it, but how much becoming an entrepreneur has changed your life.
Starting a business has fundamentally changed my life and the life of my family.
Yeah.
Really, by taking control of my career and creating a business I love, I have gained a sense of empowerment and self reliance that I don't think I would have gotten any other way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not tied to the traditional 9 to 5 anymore, and I found
Mm-hmm.
the freedom and the flexibility that works for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I have more joy, more peace. I get to experience all those moments I missed when I had a corporate job.
Yeah.
I had to work that 9 to 5, and I missed all those moments with my kids. And I have six. So with the first five, I was working and missing all of that with the last one that did not happen. And I can't tell you
Yeah.
how much that means to me.
Right.
But the newfound independence allowed me to be more present for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me, and I have grandkids now, so I'm now able to do that for them too. I
That's
get to
awesome.
attend those school events, the sporting events, the pickups. Those are important, but
Mm-hmm.
just creating the memories,
Yeah.
that you weren't able to do that with the full-time job, and then you get home tired and you're making the meal, you're cleaning the house. um, I don't miss any of that. I build my schedule around what works for me. I mean, I'll go do a job and I'll stop at the grocery store on the way home, and I'm home in time in the afternoon to make dinner, and I love
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And I planned for it that way. That's the way I
Mm-hmm.
made it because that's the way I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how much that means to me. But even more than that, my children flourished.
Yeah.
And that's such a big asset too. They grew in confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And watching me pursue my passions, I've gotten to watch them do the same thing. And I'm blessed with children who have even become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I think that, the statistics are there to bear it true. Entrepreneurs end up having entrepreneur children.
Right.
Now, other families that do not have that experience,
Mm-hmm.
children don't grow up understanding the possibilities, and so it's less likely to occur. So
Mm-hmm.
being an entrepreneur makes it more likely you're going to inspire your children to do the same.
Right.
But my children have all excelled, and they even come and give me advice on my business now. How do you like that?
Well, I mean, you're creating a legacy. You are, I mean,
Yes.
that's brilliant. I love it so
Yeah.
much. And
Listen, tear up. It's so wonderful. It means so much.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's like there's just you can't put a price on it. You can't
Yeah.
just it's just a wonderful feeling. And I don't think either one of us are here to sell the lie that it's easy, because it's not,
No.
but neither is working for somebody else, because
Right.
that's a lie too.
Right.
Because
Oh.
that can be just totally difficult for people too.
And
I
there's the sacrifices
Oh
that we
yeah.
make as mompreneurs for those jobs.
I mean, for me, it was a non-negotiable to not do the pickups, to not do spend the time and the dance lessons and the recitals and the holidays. It was just a non-negotiable for me. So, I mean, that motivates a lot of people, like it motivated you in some ways. You shared so
And
much
hopefully
helpful.
today you're inspiring more mompreneurs
Yes,
right now.
we both are. We both are for sure, because I think that just existing, just showing the possibility, because there are so many reasons to talk yourself out of it. There are so many, it feels so comfortable to stay where you are. And
Mhm.
you talked about, overcoming your fear and, you know, stepping outside your comfort zone. We don't grow in our comfort zone, right?
Right.
It's
And that fear, it's only a voice in the back of your head,
mhm,
the more you work on trying to build your business, the more you're going to build up the resilience to be able
mhm,
to shove that voice away and say, "Uh,
mhm.
I know
Right.
what I'm doing." It just requires learning what you need to know to overcome that.
No, it's so true. It's people wait for the confidence to come and then they'll take action. But it's the actions, it's the little things that you can build on and show yourself that shuts up that voice.
That's beautiful. Yes,
But
that's
that's
exactly right. You have
exactly
to
what
take action to
happens.
build confidence.
Yes. So I know we've talked about so much, and I think all of it is so important. But if somebody listening to the podcast had one takeaway, like if one thing stuck, what would you want that to be?
I want them to know that they can do it.
Yeah.
Just take action.
Mm-hmm.
one step at a time, and not understand that, you're going to have to take that action to get the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it one piece at a time and take some action.
Mm-hmm.
Your dreams are waiting for you. And just because you ignore them, they're not going away. You have to take action. And now is the perfect time.
Yes, I totally agree. And if you attempt to ignore it, the calling gets louder.
Yes.
It will hit you over the head. You cannot ignore it.
It
So
will. Oh my gosh, you're so smart, Angela. It will hit you over.
it is just how it happens. It's like if you got that little tap, it will get louder. So,
Yes.
you
And
know,
it's a calling. That's why it's there.
it
It's a
is
calling.
being an
Heed that
entrepreneur.
calling.
Yeah, and being an entrepreneur, I understand it's not for everybody. And there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. But if you do have that calling, if you do want a different life, it's available. Opportunities
Yes.
exist. We're both an example of that. I mean, I was able to take time off this year more than I ever have before. It's just I regularly want to pinch myself, but it was all because I started this podcast and I took the chance. I took one little step, and then every day another step, and it just all adds up. You look back, it's like building a house.
Yeah. And now you're building that house, helping other people do the same.
Right.
Very
And like
inspiring.
you, I'm helping my children. I have 2 daughters, and they see it. And, they're starting to think about their future and what they want to do. And so, it's a whole different ball game when you have a parent going, you can literally do anything. Like you can do whatever
Right.
you want. Um, you know,
And we work hard to put away that money for their college. Get your business
sure.
started. You will do so much more for your children once
Yeah.
you are a business owner.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's just another thing. Don't talk yourself out of it that I have to have an MBA or I have to have a business degree. I don't even know if one guest on my podcast has ever had a business degree, or if they had one, if they used it in
That
a
is so
way.
true,
It
It doesn't take a college education.
it does
It
not.
doesn't. I'm not putting it down. I think a college
No.
education broadens your horizon. Neither one of us is saying don't go to college,
No.
and I'm not saying raid that college fund. But if you're
Right.
thinking about your children's future, you should
Hmm.
think about your own too.
Yes, absolutely. And don't
Yes.
don't put it off for them. This is a gift
Right.
to them. That's why I love to share the stories about how it impacts our families, because sometimes if somebody doesn't have enough courage to do it for themselves, if I demonstrate the impact that it has on their kids and their family, that can sometimes be the
Yeah,
motivator to take action. So,
absolutely.
this is
And when you watch your children pick up that torch and carry it on, starting their own business, all that
right.
work that you put in to start your own business will seem like nothing.
Right. Totally. I hope I have the benefit of seeing that. I mean, that would be incredible. But
I think you will. I can't wait to watch that myself.
I hope so. Darlene, you've been awesome. I love all that you have to say and what you're doing. You have great resources. So, where can people connect with you, and do you want to share the resource?
Oh, absolutely. I wish I'd known what was possible, and that's what I want everybody to leave today thinking. It is possible. And I love the way one of my clients put it. He said, I was able to identify opportunities that I never thought possible before, and I love being able to make really good money doing what I enjoy and spending more time doing the things that mean the most to me. It's amazing when you find the perfect fit, and it really is. I can't say it better than that. Once he gave me that, I
Yeah,
was like, oh, that's beautiful. That's
that
perfect.
is.
So I get it. It's a lot of work, but I made this freebie, and if
Mhm.
you'll download it, the benefits and the rewards are worth the hard work. Through my experiences and those of the other mompreneurs I've worked with, I've seen firsthand the benefits you can get from having financial stability and the personal development that you get from being a business owner. It just can't be beat. And it's all possible for everybody listening today. I hope that people will come back and put comments on your show telling us about their successes. I
Yes,
want to
I
follow
love to hear
along.
it so
I want to
much.
follow their journey. So go to mompreneursSweetSpot.com. That's with an S at the end, mompreneur with an S, and then
Uh-huh.
sweetspot.com. Download the freebie. It shows you how to apply those 3 steps to your journey for anybody listening. And again, I can't wait to see more mompreneurs get started this year.
All
I'm
right.
going to be following along and I'm joining the mompreneur revolution. I hope
Yes,
everybody else will too.
I love it. I love it. So I
Let's
will
change
leave a
that
link.
20.4 to 30.4. How about that?
There you go. So I'll leave a link in the show notes to that URL. So anybody who's listening and doing something else, they can click on that and connect with your free download. So,
Yeah, I'm cheering everybody on. It is so possible. There are so many opportunities. All you have to do is get out there and find them.
yep. We are definitely, I try to emphasize that you have no idea. People are so nervous to send a comment, and it's like, oh my gosh, please do. I mean, we're here to encourage you. And it's like, once you find
Yes.
yourself in a community where everybody's just encouraging you, it's so different than the 9 to 5.
And
But
if mompreneurs are feeling discouraged, they should
mm-hmm,
take that. Yes, find you a community of people that believe
yeah,
in you.
right.
Surround yourself with those people.
Yeah.
And then just, with people that you admire and that inspire you.
Mm-hmm.
And let them help you to be able to live your dreams. Don't
Yeah.
surround yourself with naysayers.
Right. Yep.
You know,
No, find those
yeah.
podcasts. I belong to a community of podcasters that I just cannot believe how generous they are and willing to help other people. And you know, it's all out there. So,
Yeah, that's I think was one of the key things when I started having my sister going through it too.
mm-hmm,
You know, in the beginning it was all about keeping each other from giving up.
mm-hmm,
But that helping to brainstorm solutions
that's
and the
great.
support, it's key. That's
Yeah.
key in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
find
that.
community of like-minded people.
Right. Totally. Thank you so much, Darlene. It's been a
And
pleasure
thank you for
talking to
having me.
you and connecting and just I mean, this podcast is my therapy in that way, that I get to like talk to other moms who are excited about what I'm excited about. So it fills my bucket. It makes me so happy. And
Well, I'm going to keep following. Like I said, I'm a Shark Tank fanatic. I love the stories of startups
yep.
and
Mhm.
business solutions, finding
Yeah.
those. So I'll be following you.
Oh, thank you. We got some amazing folks coming in addition to this podcast. So I hope everybody will do that. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me and for all that you do.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much to Darlene for sharing all of her expertise on the podcast. I'm going to leave her resources in the show notes, so be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode this week. Be sure to leave a review, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and share this episode with anybody that you think might find it helpful. And I can't wait to bring you the next episode next week, another conversation with an amazing mompreneur. You're not going to want to miss it. A fellow podcaster, such an amazing, wise, experienced mom that, I just feel so privileged to have these conversations, and you're not going to want to miss it. If you would like to reach out to me, you can contact me by going to mombusinesscoach.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Don't be shy. So I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.